former rulers governed the country in a proper manner, there would be no reason to engage in marches today. A statement from the president.
මම ජනාධිපති ධූරයේ ඉඳලා ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු මට ආණ්ඩුවක් ඕනයි කියලා හිතන් කකුල් දෙකේ දියපට්ට වෙනකන් මම නම් පයින් යන්නේ නැහැ ගමන් වල.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says we need more devolution of power. Government the 100-day grows from strength to strength. Drinking water project for students at Humbergawa kicks off. Damanayaya Road completed. Industrial zone spanning 1,500 acres to be established in Hambantota. A revelation by Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama. Manpower employees of the Ceylon Electricity Board receives good news.
ඒ සෑම කෙනාම විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයේ ස්ථීර සේවකයෙක් වශයෙන් අපි බඳව ගන්නවයි කියන කාරණය මම විශේෂයෙන්ම කියන්නේ.
Hello and very good evening to you. I'm Aishwarya Pinto.
I'm Satwan Hapuaratri. You're watching Primetime News on News First. Let's take a look at the stories in detail now. President Maithripala Sirisena says if former leaders performed their duties and governed in a just manner, there would be no need for them to undertake long marches. The president made this remark while speaking at an event in Mavanalla today.
The President presided over a ceremony held today at the auditorium of the Mavanalla Provincial Council to distribute computers to 50 Pirivenas and churches in Kegol district. Some speak of the country's development. They say that during that time, large development projects took place and then say that this government hasn't engaged in any development activities. Today, the country is suffering from a debt burden of 9 trillion. As the new government, we have to repay this debt. However, we need to ensure that we perform our duties and responsibilities accordingly. In order to develop the country, everyone must come together. We cannot build the country by merely being divided. Once I complete my tenure, I will not engage in long marches to seek power once more. If the former leaders governed properly, there would not be a need for them to undertake long marches for political purposes, hurting their feet. As a country, let us execute our duties and responsibilities properly.
The march organised by the joint opposition commenced from Uttuwankanda in Mavanalla and concluded in the Nelundene area in Dadigama, Varakapola.
The march organised by the joint opposition commenced yesterday from Peravdeniya and reached Kanethana in the evening, without passing through the Mavanalla town due to a court order. Day 2 of the march commenced from Uttuwankanda, located outside the restricted area, following religious observances at the Dharmadutta Yoga Shramaya. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa was among those present. Due to heavy rainfall, the commencement of the march was delayed by around an hour. Once I complete my tenure, I will not engage in long marches to seek power once more. If the former leaders governed properly, there would not be a need for them to undertake long marches for political purposes, hurting their feet.
Meanwhile, Fourth Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne announced today that the decision on whether or not notices should be issued to 11 MPs of the joint opposition to appear before court for engaging in a demonstration against the former governor of the central bank in violation of a court order would be reached on the 1st of August. The Fourth Magistrates Court made the announcement when the Fort Police presented facts to court. Court had earlier ordered that the demonstration organised by the joint opposition should not pass the ceramic junction.
The Project Dadigaman organisation commenced a fast today opposite the Varakapola Pradesh Sabha on the Colombo Kandy main road.
The fast commenced at 9 this morning. Those engaged in this fast are calling for more priority to be given to the people of Dadigama when granting employment at the Varakapola Base Hospital and when granting Samurdhi aid as well as aid for seniors. The protesters have also called for the immediate arrest of corrupt persons and thugs in the joint opposition. It's been almost 1.5 years since this government came into power. However, none of our problems have been resolved. The joint opposition march is expected to pass the location where the fast is being held tomorrow. Today, police requested the Varakapula Magistrates Court to issue an order preventing the joint opposition march from entering the Varakapula town.
Fasts unto death are being launched everywhere like mushrooms. The attorneys point out that the documents that were presented by police were prepared in a hurry. Police requested a court order to stop the entire march. However, it was rejected and the march was granted permission to enter the jurisdiction on the 30th. While the police made such a request here, similar requests have been made in the Athanagala courts. The Athanagala magistrate had granted permission for the march to pass through Athanagala.
Many views were expressed today regarding the Padayatra or the protest march of the joint opposition.
We witnessed a comedy before our eyes today. They say it was a march that was commenced on behalf of the people and the country. In reality, this is not a march. I consider it a betrayal of the people, the country and the religion. It started off as a march being conducted on behalf of the people. They started off this march on behalf of the people by smashing an ambulance that was carrying patients. But you, the people of Beliatta, know that the country cannot be betrayed by holding marches and by using force or through thuggish means. The government cannot be toppled through such marches.
They are calling on the people to give them power once again. But I don't think that should be their slogan. We must ask those on the march, give us those who murdered Lasantha, give us those who killed Tajuddin, give us the money in the Cyrilia account, give us those who use public funds as it were their property, give us the son who charged commissions. These should be used as their slogans. During the reign of Mahinda Rajapaksa, it was not the politicians who took to the streets. It was the innocent fishermen demanding for their subsidies. People like Mr. Anthony were shot and killed. The youth took to the streets in Katunayaka. They too were shot and killed. The life of a youth was lost that day. Also, when the people of Ratapaswala got onto the streets asking for water, they too were shot and killed. Mahinda Rajapaksa, who violated democracy, is able to march from Gatambe to Colombo today because of the democracy established through the UNP. This is not a Padayatra or a mission to establish the people's power. This is a march of thieves. The march was organized to stop the thieves from going to prison.
අපි හිතනවා මේක රිලානටුමක් වගේ කියලා. අර කියමනක් තියෙනවා ගහක් නැති රිලවට මෝල් ගහක් ගහක් කියලා. වෙන ඉතින් අතු
Since there are no living trees, they are hanging on pedestals and are going on marches. All we have to say is that we are sorry for them.
කියලා තමයි අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ.
They have a right to organize a march against the government. But there is an issue because when I went on a march for Sarath Fonseca, my vehicle was destroyed. Lights were switched off at Punchiboralla and our march was decimated. We weren't even allowed to lodge a complaint with the police. Afterwards, we can remember how when we were fighting for Shirani Bandaranayaka, we were attacked by thugs and it was clearly a move by the government. But now, we don't act like that government.
Today these people are going on processions and are saying they want a government of certain persons. That means the law in the country should be changed, the procedure should be changed, everything should be changed. They are saying that they should be given power simply because they engaged in a march. So it's clear that the United National Party and Sri Lanka Freedom Party are combining their policies and developing the country, and those who are lost are asking for power. I think that the people of the country will give decision at the next election a better decision.
Usually, the world of terrorist organizations also have regulations. Keeping to our election promises, we initiated the first ever free ambulance service. They attacked the ambulances in a manner in which no terrorist organizations in the world would ever act. Why did they attack? Because of their craving for power. Why do they want to come into power? So that they can keep certain individuals from being put into prison. They want to reclaim power, rob the country and leave our country as a country of debtors.
The fundamental rights petition filed at the Supreme Court over a statement made by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in Parliament recently with regard to a judgment made by the Supreme Court was taken up for consideration today.
The petition was filed by attorneys at law Darshana Veraduwa and Nagananda Kodituakku. The Prime Minister made these statements in Parliament on the 7th of July regarding the Nallaratnam Singharasa ruling. The Prime Minister and the Attorney General were named as respondents in the petition. Making a statement in Parliament on the 7th of July, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made a request from the Speaker, citing that the judiciary is interfering in matters pertaining to Parliament. He said this delivering a special statement regarding the judgment of the Singharasa case. He said that the judicial power of the Parliament was being abused by the courts. This petition was filed in courts opposing that request made to the Speaker. The Prime Minister has no right to carry out such an act. He has no legal right nor a moral right. This case was filed citing that the Speaker too has no right to interfere with the activities of the Supreme Court. After considering the facts presented, the courts decided to examine this case once again on the 31st of August.
Former Inspector General of Police Mahinda Balasuriya was questioned today in connection to the murder investigation of journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge. According to the police, the former IGP was summoned and questioned by the Criminal Investigations Department.
The CID arrested an Army Sergeant Major recently over the murder of Lasantha Wickrematunge. During an identification parade held at the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court, the driver of Lasantha Wickrematunge identified the Army Sergeant Major as the individual who kidnapped him after the murder of Wickrematunge. Journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge was killed on the 9th of January 2009 in the Athidiya area.
We need more devolution of powers. This sentiment was expressed by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe during the annual get-together organised by the Colombo branch of the All Boys Association of Hartley College, Jaffna.
Among those present was DM Swaminathan, the Minister of Rehabilitation, Resettlement and Hindu Religious Affairs.
Proportional representation and strong point, but everyone feels there should be a mix. There should be constituencies and proportional representation. So we have the German model. You elect some number on the proportion on constituencies, and the remainder is given on a PR basis. That is to top up. So which means the winning party will get less on the national list, and the losing party will get more. When we abolish the executive presidency, how do we have a prime ministerial system that is stable? One of the advantages of the Westminster first past the post parties had stable majority, but unfortunately it was distorted. And that itself was one of the reasons that led to communalism in the country. So the country still remains a mixed electorate. How do you make it stable? We've had devolution. No one wants to give it up. We are looking at what is the further devolution we can give. How can you safeguard it? And then that there should be a third tier of devolution. Accept the local authorities also as a third tier. We have to look at a new Sri Lanka.
The central bank aspires to be forward-looking in policy making. This statement was made by the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, at a press briefing today. It was revealed yesterday that the Monetary Board has decided to increase the policy rates by 50 basis points. Thereby, the Standing Deposit Facility Rate, or the SDFR, will be 7.00%, while the Standing Lending Facility Rate, or the SLFR, will be 8.50%. The Statutory Reserve Ratio, or the SRR, will be 7.50%.
I'm going to take refuge in a quote from John Maynard Keynes, who said that, when the facts change, I change my mind. So what are the facts that have changed since I spoke to you last? One is that I thought that as the monetary policy transmission took place, we would see some easing of private sector credit. That has not happened. That continues to be buoyant, and it's higher than the desirable levels at the moment. What we'd like people to do is to think of the central bank like they think of their doctor. That it's what patients want of their doctor is to diagnose early and treat early, because then the treatment is pretty mild. If you allow it to delay, then you have to have a major operation at the end. So we want to be more forward-looking in our policy making, and because we saw some of these issues emerging, we thought we should move early. And of course we can recalibrate depending on how things pan out.
The governor of the central bank also spoke on the balance of payments of the country.
I wouldn't say it's very serious, but really, if it was really the kind of a combination of macroeconomic developments that led to this outcome. So if you take the pressure on the inflation side, plus, for the first time in many months, imports went up, and exports are not doing anything like as well as we would like them to. So if you look at the balance of payments on their own, the outcome, you can see a declining trend in terms of the trade balance at least, though the services account is doing quite well and is offsetting it. So there is no major pressure on the balance of payments.
Addressing the membership meeting of the United Professional Group on Short-Term Strategies for Regional Development, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca criticised the manner in which commissions are obtained for development projects. The meeting took place at the UNP headquarters, Sidikota.
Regional Development Ministry will be endeavouring to help assist cut down on imports by producing essential items locally and increase exports to earn more foreign exchange rather than spending government money on infrastructure development the way it has been happening in the past. I will also have a budget which I will try to make use of to do certain amount of development work in areas, but I have no intention of getting involved in developing infrastructure because there are so many ministries. So what I have recommended is to try to get as much as possible investors who will come with money without making use of the money from our banks or from our treasury. Of course, I will ensure that no commissions are asked by the ministry. A lot of investors have turned back and gone in the past because the commissions.
This is the Humbergawa Secondary School. The students of this school face many hardships, especially when they need clean water.
There are about 500 students in the school. They do not have water to drink. It will only take 3 days to provide these students with drinking water. But the issue here is that there is a need for a water filter. That is why we asked the people to join us.
We made this request on the 11th of June and Malibum Milk Products Private Limited responded to our request.
Today, together with them, the Newsfirst Gammadda team was able to commence the project to solve the drinking water issue at the Humbergawa Secondary School.
The Gammadda 100-day initiative with the people, for the people.
Day 10. The students of the Humbergawa Secondary School extended a warm welcome to the Newsfirst team that arrived there to commence a project to provide clean drinking water. These children will be able to consume clean drinking water instead of the brackish water they have been drinking for years. Since the area is prone to chronic kidney disease, the parents of a number of children who study here are suffering from it. Newsfirst took the leadership in providing drinking water to these students through the Gammadda 100-day initiative with the support of the Malibun Milk Abhayagana program. We also took steps to clean the well that these students obtain water from.
It is a strength to us that Sirasa has undertaken such an initiative. My husband died of kidney disease. This is a great initiative. It will aid the future of our children. My child came home and said that starting today, they will no longer need to suffer from thirst and they will have clean water. Although everyone said that this water is brackish, no one took any step to solve the issue. It was only Sirasa who gave us a solution. Sometimes we as parents forget to send water to our children when they go to school. Then they are left helpless. We too don't have the necessary facilities to fix a filter at home.
Through the project, a water filtration plant equipped with 2 large filters will be set up in the Humbergawa school. Newsfirst and the Malibun Milk Abhayagana program made a vow that the students will have clean drinking water to drink when they return to school after the vacation.
There is a speciality in this filter. It purifies the water, and the purified water is cooled. It is this water that is provided as drinking water. Now both students and teachers can drink safe water.
This is the third day that we are spending in Thanamal Villa. We, as part of the Capital Maharaja organization and Newsfirst, aspire to always do something for the betterment of the people. We agreed that we would take over this task. Everyone steps back. However, we took the lead in this journey, and we believe that once we start our journey, others would follow us.
Books were donated to the library of the school as well.
The reconstruction of a stretch of road in Damanaya, Dambulla under the Gammadda 100-day initiative concluded this evening.
The project to reconstruct the road commenced 10 days ago.
On the 10th day, we completed the renovation of this stretch of road. The area residents informed us that this road was not renovated for over 2 decades. We were able to renovate 2.5 kilometers. The villagers were enthralled as we reached the conclusion of the project today.
President Maithripala Sirisena has decided to provide a reverse osmosis or RO plant to be used for the benefit of the area residents living in close proximity to the Humbergawa Secondary School.
Incidentally, this is the location where Newsfirst launched a water purification project through the 100 Days initiative today.
Asela Iddawela, the project director, Presidential Task Force on Prevention of Chronic Kidney Disease, confirmed this to Newsfirst a short while ago.
We went through your Sirasa Newsfirst at 7 o'clock. Based on that you have fixed some water filters at the Humbergawa Junior School and as well as their surrounding villages. And His Excellency the President also has gone through this news item today, and he has advised me to fix some of the RO plants as soon as possible as per your news items today. And within next 2 weeks, we are about to fix that 2 RO plants at that village as per your 100 days Gammadda program.
Still in local news, the 24th anniversary of the Meter Readers Association of the Ceylon Electricity Board was celebrated today. The event, which was held under the auspices of the Deputy Minister of Power and Renewable Energy, Ajit P. Pereira, took place at the Shalika Hall in Narayanpeta.
The event took place at the Shalika Hall in Narayanpeta. We will introduce smart meters from January next year. Your job will no longer be to go from home to home reading meters. We have made plans to update the electricity meters to a level where the bills will be sent directly to their mobile phones. There were some who stated that employees of manpower agencies would lose their jobs as a result of the smart meters. We must state that we will recruit all of them as permanent employees of the electricity board.
මණ්ඩලයේ ස්ථීර සේවකයෙක් වශයෙන් අපි බඳව ගන්නවයි කියන කාරණය මම විශේෂයෙන්ම කියනවා.
Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama says that there is no plan to sell the Magampura Mahinda Rajapaksa port in Hambantota. The minister expressed these views while engaging in an inspection tour of the port today.
A group including Ministers Malik Samaravikrama and Dr. Sarath Amunugama, as well as the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, participated in the tour.
That is a complete lie. We will jointly develop this port. The government already has a share in this venture, and a Chinese investor is prepared to come on board and begin the development process. False rumors are being spread that we are preparing to sell this to China. We have no intention of letting the country go bankrupt. It is essential that we commence these projects quickly. After obtaining such large loans, if we do not build factories and make use of these resources, our country will only become more bankrupt. Therefore, by January, we plan on starting work on the port. In addition, they are requesting for a 15,000-acre land to build an industrial zone. By next year, this will become the biggest project in Sri Lanka. This is because there are many essential elements here. There is a road network, an airport and a port. There are also large hotels here. So the priority right now is to get together and commence the Hambantota development project. Following discussions, the Chinese are prepared to establish 150 factories on 1,500 acres of land here. When that is done, a number of problems including unemployment in this whole province as well as in the districts of Munaragala and Badulla will be solved.
Sri Lanka has the capability and the condition to establish your own industrial system. So this is very important for Sri Lanka to have this comprehensive industrial zone. So it will cover some major industrial sectors. We are sure in very near future, this region, the southern province, will change from an agricultural region to an industrial region, from an underdeveloped region to a developed region.
Founder of the Pathfinder Foundation, former Minister Milinda Moragada, is currently engaged in a tour of India. The aim of the tour is to discuss matters connected with the Centre for Indo-Lanka Initiatives of the Pathfinder Foundation.
The Centre for Indo-Lanka Initiatives at the Pathfinder Foundation was founded in 2015 to bring about a special focus on promoting bilateral ties, undertaking research and developing relationships between the two countries. During the tour, the delegation met with the Indian State Minister for External Affairs, Honorable M.J. Akbar, National Security Advisor to the Indian Government, Ajit Doval, and the Secretary to the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar. The delegation also met the heads of several reputed think tanks as well as private sector leaders and heads of media.
And that's a wrap of your primetime news. I'm Aishwarya Pinto.
I'm Chaturanga Porachi. Take care and good night.